Alright, so these are going to be your multiplying and dividing notes. So make sure you get out your notebook and then copy all this stuff down. So your title is multiplying and dividing. Alright, so when you're multiplying and dividing, you're going to use that tic-tac-toe chart that you learned, I don't know, I guess last year, year before last. So you have plus all down the middle, and then you have minus everywhere else. Alright, and so basically what this is saying is that a positive multiplied or divided by a negative gives you a negative multiplied or divided by a positive gives you a negative multiplied or divided by a negative gives you a positive. Okay, so this is like your cheat sheet anytime you have multiplying or dividing. So now we're just going to do examples. Okay, so first one, when you have decimals, the key for decimals is that you have to move the decimal. Alright, that is your key. Alright, you're not dropping it down like you are in adding and subtracting. So, for example, if you have 3.24 times 2.1, first thing you're going to do is you're going to put the longest number on top. You do not have to line up the decimal. It's okay that these are not aligned. Now you're just going to multiply like normal. Okay, pause the video and see if you can multiply it. Alright, hopefully you pause the video. But 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. Placeholder, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. And then you're going to add. 4 and 0 is 4. 8 and 2 is 10. 4 and 3 is 7. Plus 1 is 8. And then 6 is there. Now, when I say move the decimal, what that means is that here, this decimal is going to be moved twice in order to make this a whole number. This decimal will be moved once. So that means down here, we're going to move it 3 times, because 2 and 1 gives you 3. So we're going to start at the back and then move it forward 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So your answer is 6.804. Alright, next one. Now, if you are dividing fractions, same thing. So we have our example. Let's say we have 1.32 divided by a negative 3.3. Well, the first number is always going to go inside. So we got 1.32 divided by 3.3. Now, like we said before, you have to move the decimal. So I'm going to take this decimal and I'm going to move it in. If I move it once here, I have to move it once here, and then bring it straight up. And now you just divide like normal. 33 goes into 13, 0 times. 33 goes into 132. See if you can figure out how many times. So pause the video. Alright, hopefully you paused it. But it's 33 times 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1 is 13, which is that. So we get 0.4. Now, a positive and a negative. If you look at your chart, a positive and a negative gives you a negative. So that means my answer is negative 0.4. Okay, so that's decimals. Now we're going to do fractions. So when we multiply fractions, we are going to do top times top and bottom times bottom. Okay, top times top, bottom times bottom. So, for example, if I have 1/2 times 2/3, well, we are just going to multiply across. 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. From here, you have to simplify, okay? Make sure you simplify. So, I can divide both of these by 2. So my final answer is going to be 1/3. Okay? And that's all you need to know for fractions. For dividing fractions, you are going to keep, change, flip. Okay? Keep, change, flip. All right, and so what that means is that if I have 2/3 divided by 4/7, well, I'm going to keep the first one the same. I'm going to change my division to a multiplication, and then I'm going to flip my second one, and then now I have a multiplication symbol, so I go top times top, bottom times bottom. 2 times 7 is 14, and 3 times 4 is 12. Okay? Now, from here, just like we did with adding and subtracting, if your top number is bigger than your bottom, you have to divide. All right? So top in, bottom out. 12 goes into 14 one time. I get 2 remaining, so 1 and 2 12ths. All right, and that's all you need to know for multiplying and dividing.